Hello. So, one of the most common things I get asked about, even in my private coaching group, it's like one of the sticking points for a lot of people, and was myself for a long time, is the physical symptoms of anxiety. Because when we are anxious thinking, we are sending messages to our brain that is saying we're in some sort of danger, and our body is acting accordingly. It's doing exactly what it should do. I know it's irritating at times because we don't like it, but then what happens is people worry about the physical symptoms of it, and then that creates more anxious thinking, more physical symptoms, and this is why it goes on and on and on and on. And I was using an example in my private coaching group the other day, which I thought I'll just pop on and share on here actually, where physical symptoms that we have from anxiety, whatever that might be, like palpitations, hot, cold, feeling sick, stomachache, whatever they are, we are still experiencing those through our thoughts. And I think part of the reason why people experience them and dread them and think they're so awful is because part of it is because they're unsure of what's happening and it scares them. It's the uncertainty and the unknown, the unpredictability. When will it stop? Why is it there? Is it something seriously wrong with me? Maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe I've got a problem with my heart. Maybe there's a problem with my stomach. All of this sort of stuff. And that's what keeps it there for longer. So the way I likened it in my coaching group is it's your internal alarm system going off, basically, to say you've got a whole load of anxious thinking going on, and we are now, as your body is now responding to what you're telling it. So imagine if you were in an office building, or you were at work anywhere, and you go into that building, they say there's going to be a test fire alarm, it's going to be at 10 a.m, there's nothing to worry about, it'll go on for a few seconds, and then it will stop. So you may be in a phone call, you may be in the middle of doing something and the alarm goes off, and for the first split second you might think, oh shit, what's that? And then straight away you go, oh, I know what it is, it's the alarm test, and it's only going to go for a few seconds and I'm perfectly fine and safe. And you'd carry on, even to the point where you may even be able to carry on the phone call with that really loud shrieking noise in the background. You might be able to carry on doing the email you're doing because you're not giving it much attention. It's not worrying you. It's not unpredictable. It was expected. And so you can kind of, in a way, put it to one side. And by putting it to one side and not thinking about it as much, it won't feel as loud or as shrilling. Now, let's just say that scenario again, but you weren't told there was going to be a test. And in fact, you didn't expect any test whatsoever. It goes off. You're going to get the same startled reaction, but then you're probably going to add a whole load more thinking on along the lines of, why has that gone off? Gosh, is there a fire? I can't. And the likelihood is that you're not going to be able to carry on your conversation or your email because you're going to have so much thinking going on that you're then going to feel it. And it's going to be like that alarm is so loud and shrilling that it's like you can't ignore it. And that's what happens with symptoms of anxiety for a lot of people. It's the same thing, it's their internal alarm going off, but it seems much more harsh, much more shrilling, much more harder to deal with and ignore. And that's because of the thoughts about it. That's because of you trying to work out, why is it like this? What's happening? I wasn't expecting this. When actually, if I sat with you and injected adrenaline into your body and said, right, okay, in 2 minutes, when you get this adrenaline rush, you're going to probably feel shaky. You might feel even a bit dizzy. You might feel this, and you were sat there and you were expecting it. And I said, but actually it's going to stop within 3 minutes. Then it would come and it would go because you'd know what to expect and you would just let it do its thing and it would go. And that's one of the crucial things really of why I teach people this stuff, is because it's like trying to remove some of that unpredictability, some of the uncertainty, and some of the fear around what these are. These are physical symptoms. These are like test alarms, because unless you are really faced with massive amounts of danger right there and then, they're just test alarms. You're testing in your head, what would happen if this happened? What would I be like if that happened? They're all test alarms that you can actually treat like a test alarm, notice that it's there, but know that it's going to go, know that actually you're not in any real danger, and let it pass. So I just wanted to share that little analogy with people, because it's just so common. And the reason people's physical symptoms feel so awful is because whilst they're happening, they are having so many thoughts about how awful they are and how terrible they are and when are they going to go, and they're keeping them there for longer. I love your shirt. Oh, thanks, Kath. So I just wanted to share that really, and if it's useful for you, share it as well, and other people might see it. It's so common, this so common. And I suppose that's one of the big differences for me. I do still sometimes send myself into fight or flight because I'm human, but it's more like a test alarm. It's like, oh, I've set that bloody alarm off again, but I'm safe, rather than, oh no, what's happening? What does this alarm mean? Am I going to get really anxious? Am I going to not be able to leave the house? Like, it's a different experience of the same alarm. We can't ever stop ourselves from setting that alarm off. It's part of human nature, and we will all do it, but it's how we experience it. And as I said in the beginning, if you were in an office or a school or wherever, and the alarm went off and you knew it was a test, it's like that noise would start off really loud, and it's like it would suddenly disappear and go quiet, even though it's not gone quiet. It's just that your thoughts about it have gone quiet. So I hope that helps, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.